So I'm just hopping in a little bit before the video to kind of explain what's going to happen here at the beginning. So me, Jaded, Asteno, and Witty hung out for a bit, and so my microphone was muted the entire time. So I'm going to go over and kind of narrate what happened during this time. I'm going to do my best. And so let's just get into it, and I'll let you guys see what you think. So it all kind of started out after we had this really fun clip because Witty was giving us a sales pitch of what was going on. He's selling, and then Asteno kind of showed us how many lanterns he's bought from me because I sell lanterns, and he has sort of an addiction. It's like a gambling addiction, but worse. And so this was all after Witty gave us a sales pitch on his totem shop because he wants to sell his totems. So, that's very fair. And so we were just chilling, talking, and we were talking about how Witty's raid farm was broken because the villager had died. And so I looked up to see if ravagers can break leaves, so we checked if I could kill it, and it could. And it was crazy because his villager had died in his raid farm, and he thought he had spawn-proofed it all. So it was a little sad, but it's how it is. Things get broken from time to time. And they really enjoyed my crown. Because Asteno especially was such a big fan. And that made me really happy because, well, I spent a lot of time working on it, so somebody gets to enjoy it as well as I do. And then they just started staring into this one pixel of a block, and I decided Asteno just should not be able to. He then proceeded to shoot me, of course. And we talked about how I had many weaknesses, including getting shot in the head because I have my crown, and then they admired it some more. And then we played a game where he shot an arrow up, and I held up my shield and somehow still got hit. And then I did the same game, and we couldn't quite get it to hit anyone. Witty was very close, but not close enough. And then I proceeded, and then we were talking about Distant Horizons mod. Now I could see all the way to Witty's base, and then also Asteno's base. Asteno is really wants to figure out how to get that to work, because right now he doesn't have that mod installed. So we were trying to figure out how to get something very similar to work with, because he has the mod Bobby installed. Meanwhile, I have Distant Horizons, so... And I was talking about I could see my beacon beam from here. And then I talked about how I could see Asteno's base through here. And that was when he fully decided that he really wanted to get this mod to work. And then I showed them my shulker box of stone bricks that I bought from Xerox. And then he stole it for me, and that was why I tried to start killing him. And then we talked about the totem shop that Witty has. And then I saw that Witty was digging this dirt block, and so I decided, let's put him in a hole. And then we covered it up. And I was very happy about something. I cannot remember what. And then we wanted to go over to this spider spawner that Jaden has. I was trying out a new Elytra mod at the time. So, I was still trying to work on landing. And then me and Asteno both went to Jaden's shop instead of going to the actual spawner. And then I was still trying to just figure out how to land or go where I needed to go. But I did pretty good going down there. And as it turned out, Asteno was on 2 hearts after that because he is horrible at flying. Haha, Asteno, if you're watching this, womp womp. And then Asteno talked about the idea of getting heads from some of us because he doesn't have our heads yet. And so we started killing him in there because, well, he asked for it. And then I told him we should go up to the surface and figure that out so we can get each other's heads. And I kind of ran into the problem of me thinking the ceiling was the floor. But I figured out how to get out of there because flying was something. And they ended up going to by the nether portal, and so I decided to set up a little area where I could respawn if I needed to. And he was getting ready to be killed. And then right when she was gonna kill me, I said, oh, whoops, I have 61 levels, so we can't kill me yet. And so we got it. And then they were very happy about the name of my sword, the King's Blade. They were very happy about that. I only really needed 2 of his head, because I'm not gonna need all that many. And then we had to figure out what to do with my levels. So what I decided to do was, I just decided to go and rename all of my tools and armor. Because I had no other good way of getting rid of levels. And I also got some rotten flesh from Witty that I renamed Asteno in a nutshell. Because I got it essentially right after he was killed, and so I just did. I don't know. Asteno, it was something. The naming process was just me going through and adding the kings to everything, because I didn't really know what to do. So, you know. I am the king after all, so I had to give it something that's very fitting. And then I named all the rest of my armor. It was getting very expensive to do that, and that's why it was nice, because, well, I had a bunch of levels, and why not just do it now instead of later, because I had all those levels anyway, just from villager trading, so. And then I did not have another. I had some anvils and oh, looks like Jaden had another anvil for me. Look at that. Some people on the server are just so prepared for everything. And then I had named all my stuff, and I'm gonna name my crown. And then immediately after I had named it, Asteno decided, oh yeah, let's just start killing him. I didn't have any chance to put any of my stuff in a shulker box, so I just exploded into a million pieces. But you know, it was alright. Because I got all my stuff back in the end, but I said I was not very amused with the name of the of the rotten flesh. But we all had a good laugh over that. And then Asteno, I probably should have given Asteno the head right away, but you know, I forgot. So I ended up giving it to him. And I ended up with 2 of his head. Now looking back on it, I did not name my shield. I should have asked him to. And then we compared swords, because his sword did not have a sweeping edge. But he had a good point for that. It was just because he didn't want to, like, have a mob near a player and accidentally kill the player. So it makes sense, but I just like that because of farms. And then I put my crown back on, and then I made a group that we didn't really end up using anyway, but we didn't end up using the group, but it's alright. We weren't very far from each other for the whole time. I ended up giving Jaden another Asteno in a nutshell, even though she already had seen it. And then I just gave them right back to Asteno. Because why not? Asteno, then, you know, it was weird. And then Witty punched me off my ender chest. And then, yeah, Witty ended up with my arrows at the end of the explosion of items. And Asteno just wanted to eat the rotten flesh that I named. But, you know, he didn't have any hunger, so he asked us to hit him, and Jaden hit him, and, you know, he was on fire. And then I was asking Jaden about if he can have fire aspect on a sword with my enchantments on it, but because I didn't know like what stuff you can and can't have on a sword. Well, I know you can't have smite and sharpness with the same sword, but like yeah, you can have sharpness and fire aspect on the same sword, but I just don't know if you can have sweeping edge and fire aspect. Check on that, but and then I thought that as totem because they were trying to get it to pop. They didn't have the achievement. And then I proceeded to type cool, I guess, because getting the totem achievement is not something you know. You don't want to be in that position where you die. And then Jaden popped the totem as well. And I said the same thing again, because, you know. And then Asteno, I don't really know where Asteno went during this part. Oh, never mind, he's right in front of me. We were just talking about how I did not have a totem and how I should have gone and bought one. Except for, you know, I wasn't gonna do that because, you know, I definitely don't have diamonds to spare. But, like, I could have bought one, but I just don't really use a totem. I like having a shield in my offhand most of the time. And I decided it was more important to have a shield than a totem, and which is fair. I mean, some people also agree with that. And I could have just done it to support. Witty. Because I know that they are very poor. Witty and Asteno are very poor because of my shop, so, you know. That could have been the least I do, but it's alright. And then we were talking about whispering and all that. And I thought they were talking about in-game whispering, but turns out they were talking about whispering in our simple voice chat mod. And then we tried to figure it out, but we couldn't quite figure out what was going on with the whisper. We couldn't, so I decided to, once I couldn't find it in the settings, I just decided to look it up because I couldn't tell. And then once I looked it up, I discovered that it was actually just a keybind. So I went into my keybinds, I found it. And I set it to my shift button. Because, I mean, shift and whisper, you know. My audio had to restart a little bit there. From my audio in, and then my microphone gets really small when I whisper, but it doesn't really do anything from what we could tell. We were trying to figure out how it works, but we could not see a difference. Like we went around walls, he could still hear me and all that. So we were just messing around and all that, but it's just kind of weird. Like if anyone knows what the whispering does, let us know in the comments, because we have no clue. Not the smartest people on the server, that's for sure. Like we even tested it some more with going around walls and all that. And then I just looked it up some more, trying to figure it out. And then once I couldn't find anything, we just decided to set it back to unbind it because we didn't know. So we just unbound it because we weren't going to use it. There was no point, so. Had a hard time finding it the second time around. Really easy to find it the first time, but yeah. So once I unbound it, then we just decided, you know what? We don't really know what it does. And let's go see what Jaden and then Woody unbound his sneak button for some reason. Not quite sure why. And then so we went over to see what Jaden yeah, right here. He found out he unbound his sneak button. And so then after that though, we decided to go over and see what Jaden and Asteno were up to. Because they just went over here right by the Headhunter server event. And then, you know, I almost hit him into the water. But I scared him a little bit. And then we decided, and we're just kind of chilling, talking about stuff, all that. And then Asteno decided that he was about getting ready to film his outro for his 5th episode. Yeah, crazy. I'm only on the 3rd. But yeah. And then so we went over and we're in the outro of Asteno's 5th episode. So this will probably be out after that episode is out. So I'll probably put a link to that in the description, so you can go to the end of that and see, because the full audio or some of the audio of this interaction should be in there. I hope Asteno, and please. And so this is just us in the outro. And then Jaden said, I was resisting the urge to shoot you right there. And we thought that was really funny, so you can go see the original clip of that in the end of Asteno's video, because I know that will be in the end. In the end of the video, because he said it would be. And then after that, I mean, he just kind of went to go. Not really much. I think he said he was going to go edit He was talking about how cod was a better food source than golden carrots, or at least it was a cheaper one than golden carrots. And then he repriced it to 6 stacks of cooked cod for a diamond. And then we just checked out prices of all that and all that. We weren't really doing much. And then I was talking about how I bought some prismarine. Now I'm planning on buying some more, and how he was a little low on prismarine. And then we just kind of... And I turned off a mod that makes it so the audio is echoey and all that. I turned it off for simple voice chat so that it's a little easier to hear and record. And then Witty just said, yeah, he's probably gonna go edit all that, and I agreed because I mean he doesn't really have much else to do. And then Witty wanted to show me a magic trick. And so he told me to... told me to turn around. And then, but he forgot to tell me to press F1. So I still did it anyway. And then he logged back in for some reason. I told him he forgot to press F1, and then he was gone. I thought he was like changing his skin or something, but no. He was just gone. And so, you know, I waited there for a little bit, but I was gonna prank him. And I could not find the block. But you know, I did. But then, you know, not much happened other than that. Alright everyone, so now that we've done that and seen all the people and seen Asteno and all that, messed around with them for a bit. They're not online anymore, it's just me, Jaden, Chirp, and Woosh. Woosh joined a little bit ago. Just flying back here. And so what we're gonna do in today's episode is, we're not going to do very much building, but I did find a color palette that I like, and I will put that on screen. It's going to require a deep slate and all that, and then basalt. But I got andesite, blackstone, and a bunch of basalt. So really the last thing I need to do is, I don't really need to get stone, because I still have stone bricks from... Let's put this over here as well. Stone bricks. And then I have stone. I got stone from Xerox. Honestly, yeah, actually, let's go over there, and he's not online right now, he went to work. But, let's go over there, and it's 2 diamonds per row in his double chest, so I'm gonna go get some of his stone. Let's get my rocks boxes out here. And rocks. Then I have, this is my stone. Yeah, projects like this take a lot of this is my deep slate box, which I also need, because deep slate is part of that color palette. So let's go grab some empty shulker boxes to put in my ender chest, because I'm always needing shulker boxes. Hope I don't have to go buy more. This one's not empty, so I'll just put it out here. Don't really need any of that stuff. So, I might have to go buy other boxes because I'm not doing so well on the ones. A bunch of mess. That's just how it be. 4 should be good for now. There's my other ender chest. Alright. That should be all the... Let's see, I also need stone cutter. And then I'm changing, in the actual color palette, I'm changing normal blackstone for deep slate because blackstone seems a little too harsh. So I need a stone cutter for a bit of chiseled basalt. And then I also need some gray wool, so I think I'm going to go buy these 2 towers over here to see how they turn out. Not going to really do any crazy towers or anything, but, like, you know. They're just going to be pretty simple towers with, like, some stuff at the top. It's nothing crazy. So, without further ado, let's get into a time lapse, I guess. Let's go. Alright everyone, now that I've done these 2 beautiful towers, I mean, look at this. The gradient is amazing. I did windows on one side. I haven't gotten to do windows on the other side yet. But, like, once there's a wall on this and all that, like, this is going to be great and amazing. So I think there's going to be a little wall going here to it, just, like, and then there's going to be the back of some buildings that is connected to. I don't really know if I'm going to do towers here or if I'm just going to, like, put them up a little bit. But, like, that should be, so that the end of the wall will be, probably put a tower. I guess I will put a tower there just so that I can end that off, that side of the wall. And then probably one there as well. But, I mean, these towers, I mean, they're turning out great. It took not really that long. The gradient is pretty simple, but it looks really good. So, I'm really happy with how this is turning out. Huge massive buildings that I'm doing. Like, this probably took me just, like, no detailing or anything yet. This probably took me about half an hour to an hour. So, I mean, doing a couple more of these off camera, just, like, since you guys already know what they look like, should be pretty good. I'll end up making some details on them. I'll add they're pretty basic on the top, but I think that's probably how they're gonna stay. And maybe add like a flag in the middle if I can or something, because there should be a set middle point. Yeah, so maybe add a flag to the top of one of them. I don't really have plans with how to detail them, so we'll just see how that goes. But I guess without further ado, that's about all I have for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.